Hi guys, how are you? I'm back. I haven't done one of these videos in a while, but I am going to be doing this. Sit down, get a cup of tea. We're going to be having the chats. We're going to be talking about budgeting, and I'm going to be talking about the budget mindset planner, the 4 families budgeting method that I came up with, and and why not? Why wouldn't we do that? Okay, so what I want to talk about today, guys, is my budgeting method, how it came about, why I came up with it, and who it's there for, who it's really aimed for. Oh, that's a mouthful. God help you. But carry on, let's go. So in 2019, I paid off a heap load of debts. I had very little income and I had to think outside of the box. And I think this will be a great few videos that I'm gonna make where I really show you how I broke down the budget mindset planner, how I came up with the 4 families budgeting method, and how it works for me and how it changed my life. And I've heard feedback from so many others that they've applied these steps and it's really changed their life, and I couldn't be prouder. And I just didn't even see it as a thing like this. It was just a method that I came up with because I was paying off my debt, and month by month I was only getting into budgeting, and I was just like, when I looked at everything, I was like, everything is just so overcomplicated. There's so much to think. I need to make up a method that is so simple that I want to sit down and do it, but it also gives me the results that I need to carry on and the encouragement. And I could see, that I'm really hitting milestones after milestones, and I really did. And I did pay off 15,000 in 1 year as a single parent. I'm very proud to say that, because a lot of us, we end up in circumstances that we don't think we're going to end up in, and before you know it, you have bills coming out of your eyeballs and you don't have the money to pay for it, and you have to adjust your lifestyle. And with this budgeting system, it was really about me adjusting my lifestyle. It was really about me, having to look at everything in my life with new eyes. So to begin with my budgeting system, you need to start with your income. What do you earn? I am not talking about just what you earn from your job and then you do overtime sometimes, or you do this. I want you to look back from last year and sit down and go, how much did I earn this year? What do I earn? What's my average monthly figure? So you can put it down, and then a figure that you might want to beat, or at least you can be fairly accurate. So what I do is I have the projected side, and then I have the real side. So you have the projected side is where you think, well, this is what I think I might be earning this month. This is a rough figure. And I always say, with your income, underestimate it. Don't overestimate, underestimate. So if you do end up having more than you need, then you have more money to play with. It's always a better position to be in. Yes, so underestimate it. And then I'm like, we add up all the income. So income is your children's allowance. If you're a single parent and you get maintenance, that's your maintenance money. If you do surveys, that's your surveys money. If you do mystery shopping, that's your mystery shop money. That is literally everything. You need to write it all down. We need to be honest with ourselves. If it's coming into your house, if you're going to be putting it towards something, that is income. That's money coming into that pot, and we're going to put it there and make sure everything is accountable. We don't want to go halfway through the month and say, oh my God, I thought this was gonna happen. And this is where I would always say, really do fill out your money calendar. I have another video that I'll link underneath that does have my that does have methods and how I organize the money calendar. So I'll link that below. And also there's a blog post on it in a little bit more detail on thecaribbeandub.com. So I have it all lined up for you guys. So let's go to our first family. So guys, when I'm saying families are my categories, and I'll explain that all at the end, why I decided to call it the 4 family budgeting method. I think you might like it, I don't know. But We're going to start with the first family, which is the wall family. The wall family is literally your needs. And I always call them, they are the backbones. These are your four walls around. These are your foundations. We need to get them right, and then we could worry about everything else. These are the kind of things that would keep you awake at night if you don't have them under control. This is not to shock you. This is the absolute truth. Remember, I'm not just saying it from a point of view of someone who's read a book or studied this in college. I'm saying this from the point of view of someone who's lived it. So your wall family is your food. I'm not talking about takeaways. I'm not talking about eating out. I'm talking about your breakfast, lunch, and dinner kind of food. That's what I'm talking about. That's your weekly shop. That's the food that you need to eat every day. And if you didn't have that, if you couldn't provide for yourself, you wouldn't be able to think mentally. It would affect your well-being. That's the food I'm talking about. The next one is your utilities. Once again, I'm not talking about your Sky. I'm not talking about your broadband. I'm talking about heating. I'm talking about water, depending on where you live. I'm talking about gas. These are the essentials. These are what you need. You need in the winter. These are what you want to keep your family safe, secure. You want them to keep them warm. And of course, the next one is going to be housing. Housing is so important. I'm talking about if you're renting, if you have a mortgage, that is important. If you don't have a house, if you don't have shelter, then you're not fulfilling one of your needs. And we're talking poverty here. So that's why I was like, we start with the wall family. And okay, we start with the wall family depending where your situations is. But I'm going to say, if you're a low income earner, if you're only starting to budget, if you're at the very beginning of your budgeting journey, this is where you start with. You start with your wall family. So we're at food, we're at housing, we're at utilities, and the next one is transport. And I know for a fact that depending on where you live, transport plays a major part in your life. So if you're living down, the country, and you need to get to work, and work is an hour away, you can't pay your rent. You cannot, feed your family because you're not earning money. You need transport to get to work. It is what it is. So I put transport in there as well. And then finally, if you're a single mom like myself, you need childcare. You cannot work. I can't work if I don't have someone to mind my kids. And I've done a lot of work where I can work from, within the house, and I do a lot of work, in my bedroom or in my little office, and that's all good. But when it comes down to it is, if I got a TV show, I have to get childcare so I can go and do it. I need to be able to pay somebody to look after the kids so I can go and make money to feed us, to house us, to pay for the light and electricity, pay for the light and the heating, to get food on the table, to make sure we have shelter and that mortgage is paid every single month. So those are your wall family. And I'd say you need to get your foundations so hard. There's another way that I can line these up, but I start with the wall family because I have been there. I've been there where I'm panicking over food. I've been there where I didn't have heating for the house. I've been there where I'm behind on my mortgage and I'm panicking because I think the worst, I'm gonna get evicted. I've been there where I'm looking at putting petrol in my car because I can't get to work. I'm searching the couch, I'm couch diving, looking for coins so I can get enough money to go to work and pay that bus fare. So a lot of people say, we should pay yourself first. I think unless you have your wall family in a comfortable position where, maybe you're even a few months ahead of it, and yes, that is possible. Let's just get this started first, because these are the things that, financial wellness is so important for me. And I'm like, let's get this done before we go another step further. I'm not playing. I'm not here to get anybody panicked, but you get your wall sorted, and I'll tell you one thing, you're going to be able to sleep at night. You're going to be able to look at your family in a different way with pride, knowing that, you're able to support them and you're able to meet those needs. And I know prices are going up every single week, every single month. The cost of living is rising. And Ireland is looking like the second most expensive country to live in now in Europe. It's crazy times, and now more than ever, we need to secure the walls. I will be making a video on how to really tackle this family and keep this budget in check as much as you can. But for now, we're going to go on to the next family. The next family is the long family, and I would call this category is where you are organized. You're organizing your money. You're getting on top of things. Now you have, your wall family is sorted. You have your needs really sorted. And I always call these are your first world needs, but these are some very important, aspects of your budget that does need taken care of. This is where you are literally looking after you're planning ahead for Christmas. You have sinking funds there. This is where you might have your broadband. This is where you will have your, I'm going blank for some reason now. So this is where you'd have your broadband. This is where you're going to pay back your minimum debt payments. You're going to keep everything. This is where you're organizing your money, that little bit left. So you had your income. You gave a little bit you gave the first batch of it to your wall family. They're covered. Now we're on to the next family, and whatever is left is going to come down to the next family from your income, and that's your new starting income. And we're going to look at the long family, which is where we're organizing our money. We're not firefighting anymore. We're going to get on top of our debts. We're going to make sure that the minimum payments of everything is up to scratch. We're going to start thinking about planning ahead for these expenses that come up time and time again, just like Christmas. You have your Christmas, you're going to be paying for birthdays that are coming up, those little things that might be really hard. If you're behind on them, you're going to try and get a little bit ahead. And I'm not saying you need to put €50 or whatever. You remember, you're already after covering your wall family. This is the money you have left. So think here, what is the priority next after your needs? And this is your minimum debt payments. These are the things that you don't want to be staying up and worrying about. You really want to have them in check. So your minimum debt payments, we're going to have your broadband, you have birthdays, you have your Christmas sinking funds, you have all that there, and you're really looking after your four families, and you're really looking after your longs. And your longs are organized, and they keep you on top of everything. Other things that I would do was life insurance. Although life insurance is so important for me right now with the price of everything going up, I am literally going, okay, with the long family, I need to make sure my debt repayments are up to scratch. I need to make sure that I'm going to be sorted for Christmas for the kids. I need to make sure that, I have life insurance. I need to make sure that, a lot of things that go in there, they might not seem, I need to make sure that I have broadband so I can make YouTube videos to help people and maybe get my channel up to 1,000 followers and 1,000 subscribers, and then who knows, I'll be able to make a little bit of income from that. That's what I'm talking about. Or I could work from home with that, but it's not an absolute need. I can do without it. And before, it doesn't mean that why I said it's not an absolute need is I could do without broadband. I'll be all right. I can adapt. I can go to the library. I can go to my mom's. If worst came to the worst, I can't do without food. So that doesn't bring it up to the wall family. Now we're going to pay for everything out of that starting income, and whatever is left, we're going to bring it over to the next family. The next family is the Fundays. Every budget needs balance. Everything we do in life needs balance. You're not going to appreciate the fact that you can pay your bills if you don't ever have a little fun, or you don't ever have a little bit of downtime. And a lot of people trip up over their budget, and it's usually the first thing they cut is any little bit of fun, any little bit of joy. A budget is not meant to limit you. It's not meant to restrict you. A budget is meant to actually do the opposite. It's meant to really make you make those choices that are important to you. And you know what? If going out for a coffee once a week with your friends is really important to you, put it in your budget. Guilt-free fun. For me, one of the things that I do is I have a self-care fund. I give myself a certain amount every week. Sometimes I spend it, sometimes I don't. But you know what? If I turn around and say I need to get a new lipstick and I have it in that self-care fund, I'll get a new lipstick and I won't think twice about it, because you know what? That was there for me. If I decide I want to have coffee with my friends and I take it out of my self-care fund, that was there for me. I'm not going to feel guilty about it. If I turn around and I need to go and have a few drinks with my friend and I have that money in my self-care fund, I'm going to be unapologetic. Another thing I do in my self-care fund, I put the children's fund envelope. So we always conscious spend. So even with fund, it's intentional. We're really choosing. What that's made me do is go, I don't really want to give. I have a lot of money going towards my wall family. I'm keeping everything organized in my long family, and I'm going to have a little bit of fun in the Fundays family, and I'm going to enjoy life still. I don't want to live my life and look back and think all I ever did was pay bills, work, pay bills, and die. I don't want to do that. I want to enjoy life. But what this is making me do is, what exactly brings me joy? And that's where my money is going. I literally give that money a plan, and I do that all across my budget. Now I'm after giving the starting income to the budget, to the Fundays, and I'm going to use it up for whatever I want. I'm able to do the kids do gymnastics now, they do swimming, it's so much thing. We have Netflix. I put all those in the fund, because although they make life easier, they are those little extras that I find really nice. I have my Audible in my Fundays, and yes, I am in the library. For people that are gonna say this, I am in the library, but I really love cleaning and listening to a new book all the time, or going back to old books that I've bought. A lot of things that I would download in Audible, I'd keep going with them. And if you want to know some of the top books that I read and I recommend when you're starting your budgeting journey or your mindset journey, it's on thecaribbeandub.com. I'll also link that blog underneath. So yeah, the Fundays. So what I do is then I give my money right there. Now, there's one more family that I want to talk about, and I really want to talk about this. Okay guys, so the last family is, not because it's last does not mean it's less important. No family, okay, apart from the Wall family, the rest of the families are pretty even. The last family is goal driven. It's the reason, it's really fueled by your reason why. Why are you budgeting in the first place? What do you want? What do you actually want from your budget? And this family is the Joneses. Instead of keeping up with the Joneses, you're going to choose your own path and you're going to become the Joneses. The Joneses are your dream holiday. The Joneses are your wedding. The Joneses are your emergency fund. The Joneses is investing long term for your children's college. The Joneses is saving for that house deposit. That's your Joneses. And this is why you cut back and you skimp, and those are your extra debt payments. So we're paying off, in the long family, we know we're paying our minimum debt payments, but say you're trying to do a debt payoff, that's where you're going to be cutting everything for, and that's going to go towards your Joneses. Now, here's a little bit of a twist. If you are on top of your budget and you're budgeting week in, week first, and week in, week out, and you want to start paying yourself first, then you start with the Joneses first instead of the Wall family, and the Wall will come second. So if you want to just go, okay, every month, no matter what, I'm going to pay €140 into my investment fund, then you start with the Joneses and you pay that €140 straight away into your investment fund, and then you can start splitting the pot within the Wall, the Longs, and then the Fundays. But for now, if you're only starting out budgeting, I would always say is try and make it to the end. Try and keep something for the Joneses. So you're literally putting away something every single week. And that's one thing that I really tried to do. I knew that my Wall family, there was a lot of outgoings, there was a lot of expenses, and it cost me a lot. But what I did was I always made sure I worked my hardest to cut back on them, so I would be able to pay the extra towards my Joneses. And the way I budget is a zero-based budget. And what a zero-based budget is, every single penny is accounted for. You might think, oh my God, Santos, why are you throwing this in the work? I thought you said your budgeting method was easy. It is easy. It really is easy. All you have to do is start with your income. You feed the first family. They take what they need, and that becomes the new starting income. The long family takes what it needs, and then that becomes the new starting income for the Fundays. The Fundays take what it needs, and that becomes the new start income for the Joneses. And when you get to the Joneses, all you have to do is make sure every single penny that you have left is distributed. That's a zero-based budget. A zero-based budget means every single cent is accounted for. I will talk about my families again in a part 2. I don't want this video to be too long. I want you to be able to take it all in and go, okay, next. If you want to really practice my budgeting method, please purchase the Budget Mindset Planner on thebudgetmindsetclub.com. Thank you so much for watching, and if you haven't subscribed, please do. There'll be a lot more content coming right now. I'm in the budget mindset and I'm ready to go. Thank you. Bye-bye.